back. I'm here with Senna and Jesse. And guys, I wanted you to check out a new FX series called Adults.
Yeah.
FX is really good at all forms of TV, but especially comedies and sitcoms and developing their shows. And we think of some of our favorites like Atlanta and Dave, Reservation Dogs. Like, they're always coming. Rami, we just talked about Rami Youssef. They're always coming with something special and exciting. So I was very interested in their latest show called Adults. It is a young generation comedy in the vein of so many shows like Friends and Seinfeld and Girls and Broad City. It's created by Ben Kronengold and Rebecca Shaw. What's inspiring about this is that they are sub 30 years old, which in the TV creation landscape you just never see. Like, no one that young is getting a shot. And so I kind of wanted to support it because of that. I think that's exciting.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was at UTA, like, they were the hot ticket because they were just signed off of a graduation speech they gave.
Wow.
Where they had a whole sketch between themselves as a couple that was breaking up when giving their valediction speech or something like that.
I missed this.
They did it in front of Hillary Clinton. I remember they got signed to UTA off of that, and it was a real example of, like, look how young people can do something different and attain representation in a different way. Now finally they have a show. I'm sure they've been developing this for years with FX.
It's just interesting because I also gave a commencement speech at the University of Michigan, and UTA did not call me after that. It's if you guys want to look it up, it's pretty good.
Did you take a pratfall during the speech? Like, did you?
No, but I do. There's prop comedy. There is prop comedy in there.
Wow.
Yes,
you gotta resurface
yes,
it. Somebody
and
get
vibes.
Get this
Gabriel, call your boys at United Talent and
girls.
And girls, sorry. Girls
Don't
probably not.
apologize to him. Fuck you, Gabriel.
I'm not apologizing to anyone.
Yeah, come on now.
Hey! This is my assistant. Hey! Call him UTA!
Jesse, you had this one circled as well. Why were you interested in Adults?
Yeah, I read the pilot like a year ago, and I just thought it was hilarious. I thought it jumped off the page. It was fresh. It was funny. It felt like, as you said, sub 30. It felt like people of our generation, of our age, writing
100%.
for people our age. And I thought that was pretty refreshing because I think we're all a little bit tired of, like, writers' rooms full of people in their 50s trying to write Gen Z and millennial language.
Yeah, they
it's
just don't get it.
so fucking hard. So to have something that feels a bit more authentic was great. And I've been enjoying it. It's hard to judge a comedy. I've watched 5 episodes. It's hard to judge a comedy in its first season, I think, on 5 episodes. But
definitely.
I think it's coming down positive for me. Very positive.
Yeah. I finished it, and I really liked it, which I was surprised by. And Senna, I know you were surprised too, because I felt like you were coming into this ready to hate it. And it is hateable on the surface.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is showing, like, the foibles and the most annoying qualities of Gen Z. It's laughing at those, but then also showing why this generation has the energy it does, why there is almost an electricity to any group in their 20s trying to take on life. So, Senna, what did you think of Adults?
Yeah, I went in. I had a tough week. The premise was something that I was like, oh, yeah, like, this is it. Like, I get to get some of this venom out. Like, this is going to be easy to hate. And then around midway through episode 1, I was like, oh, wait, this, like, is, like, has something to say, and these performances are really good. And this is how everyone I know of that generation talks. This is how I talk. Fuck. Like, I was like, it was all of a sudden, I was just along for the ride. I was like, this is it. Like, they, right on the head, like you guys are saying, they really get how people are in Generation Z, like Zillennials all the way back. And I thought that was so cool that they were able to do that while still making it entertaining and fun. And not, it's so easy to make it like some sort of preachy kind of display of, like, this generational
like
change.
Each episode's like a PSA
Yeah,
about
like,
something.
oh, this is what Gen Z thinks about, like
Yeah, yeah.
our word culture, and this is what they think about. None of that. It's all of that all at once weaved in, and it doesn't even like really take a perspective on it. It's just like, hey, this is how this generation is
Yeah.
meeting these issues.
To try to take on girls and be girls, like you're never gonna be girls. Like that show and the pathos it had, it was very special. And
Yeah.
I think that once you get that comparison a little out of the way with adults, you realize this is kind of like what we were saying about the studio, Jesse. Like just zanier, sillier, funny
Yeah.
scenarios, a little more Broad City than Girls.
Yeah.
And still, there's something to say within it, and there's commentary about dating and age gaps and
Yeah.
relationships
Sex
in the
and
workplace, and
jealousy.
it all gets in, and health insurance, and it
Yeah.
all gets in there, but it's slipped in very comical ways. It really is a ridiculous show that has the energy of this generation. It's not trying to be so self-serious.
Yeah, and I like how it says the quiet part. So many times I'm like, are you going to go there? And they go there. They say the quiet part, which is how people, I think of that generation and this generation think about these kinds of issues. Like, it's really, really bold to talk about how, because something really horrible is happening in the public eye, how you can leverage that to get ahead and work because you're a young person in the office. Like, that is something that people have done the calculus on 100% and don't really say. And so for this to just walk it straight down is so cool to me. Like,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it stares down some of the biggest, most serious problems facing young people and laughs at them, because that's kind of how you got to get through shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what's strongest about the show is the chemistry between the cast. Like,
Yes.
it's just a really well-cast show. And maybe these performers are great individually, but it's them together that feels really special. Jesse, what do you think of the actors here?
Yeah, I think all of them are great. Special shout out. I think Amita Rao, who plays Issa, and
Standout.
Owen Thiele, who plays
Absolutely.
Anton. They're cooking.
The two
They're-
best.
So you think they're jumping off the screen the most, maybe?
Yeah, I love
To
Jack
me, so
Innanen,
far.
though. Paul
I love-
Baker.
So handsome.
Dude, how is
So
he so
handsome.
handsome? Damn.
I love
Give me
that
that
they,
every time I watch it.
they first name, last name him.
Paul
Yeah.
Baker, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
Paul
my
Baker is
man.
very funny.
It's dope.
Amita Rao as Issa is really good. She's doing kind of the Alana Glazer thing, like the biggest energy.
Yeah.
I think, like, again, too much time with her, it would be annoying, but it's
Agreed.
about how she plays off of Lucy Freyer as Billy.
Mm-hmm.
It's how she plays off of Owen Thiele as Anton, who I think is, like, my favorite performer to watch.
He's
is
the
Owen
best.
Thiele.
He's so
And
motherfucking shady.
He's got, like, gravitas is the wrong word, Jesse. Maybe you could help me out, but just like he's the stability
He has
within
a
the
swag
group.
to him. Yeah,
a
dude.
little bit. Like
Yeah.
with his sweaters and his little glasses, like he's kind of holding down the fort.
He is
this
the cool
safe-
gay that roots so many friend groups. Like the coolest gay that just like keeps everybody
He's
glued
the
together.
safe harbor in the storm.
Yeah.
So,
almost.
I want to say, and I think if he listened to this, he'd be fine hearing me say this. He is best friends with a bunch of my very good friends, and I've spent time with him and would consider him an acquaintance. And that's exactly who he is in real life.
I can tell. It feels too real.
And I don't know if they like wrote this character with him in mind, or if the writing room tailored it to him, but like it fits him so well because it doesn't feel like it's a stretch. Like
Right.
that episode that's about him basically like friend bombing, love bombing, whatever you want to say,
yeah.
everyone, like that's I've hung out with Owen maybe 10 times in my life, and I'm like, oh, I'm his best friend.
That's my
like,
best friend.
like he loves me. I know he fucking loves me. So,
I saw the creators, Rebecca and Ben, say that post the pilot, like every episode was written to let these actors put more and more of their personality into it.
And
That's
you
awesome.
can feel that as it proceeds too. I feel like, yeah.
And that gets me really excited. I don't know if this has been renewed. I'm sure it will
Hasn't
be.
I hope it does. I hope it
does
gets
too.
renewed.
I think it has some legs on it.
I think
I think-
the chemistry will just get even stronger, and we're gonna love the characters even more.
I think a
That's-
season 2 on this is where it would like just
Yeah.
take off 100%.
I think kind of what I'm getting at with like, I hesitate to compare it to Girls, New Girl, Broad City. There are shades of that, but I hesitate to compare it because I'm like, Girls had 6 seasons. New Girl had 6 seasons. Like, Broad City, 5, 6 seasons, whatever. I've now watched a cumulative, like, an hour and a half, 2 hours of this TV show, and I'm having a really good time. There are moments that are less successful. There are moments that are wildly successful.
There's jokes that aren't funny. There's jokes that are super funny.
Exactly.
They come every second, so you're always ready for the next one.
They do not stop. It is jab, haymaker every second. Which is,
they have a Rolodex of jokes in there.
Yeah, and I think that it's so cool, like from the big to the small. And you can even tell, I think, with the camera work, like Owen's character in the first episode, or so, you kind of get what he is. By the end of it, they are cutting to him making a shady face, or like they just kind of get where his moments are coming. He's like acting outside of the pages. They're kind of starting to feel where these people shine more and more, and I thought it was dope.
The show's gaining confidence. It's gaining like a sense of itself as the season progresses, and I think give it runway because it's really good so far.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me play devil's advocate and throw it to you guys. Like if someone's a naysayer, maybe they're an older viewer, maybe they're an older millennial, maybe they're even older than that. Maybe they're Gen Alpha. Like, how are you pitching this to them? Why are you telling them that this is worth their time?
I mean, I'm not sure my mom would like this show.
My mom wouldn't.
It's brash and it's in your face.
It's too brash,
gross. There's armpit sniffing and mooning and
and OnlyFans and talking about showing whole.
That shared bathroom moment in the start of the second episode, I'm like, come on, no.
Yeah,
I'm good on this.
Pissing through the legs.
That is so right, though. I'm like, sorry. That is
Are
so.
you speaking from experience?
No. I'm just saying, like, I know houses that we went to college.
Yeah,
like my sister went to college. Like, you just know houses of people that are
my
so
sister
like
went
that.
to college. Crazy thing to say.
No, we're saying, like, I'm hearing about it. Like, she's younger than me, so I hear about how these things kind of play out.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but back to the, like, how are you going to try to maybe convince them to watch it?
I think that it's about the chemistry. It's about the, traditional sitcom aspects of this.
Yeah.
And it's about refreshing them. If you like those sitcoms, people that liked Friends in the 90s because they were in their 20s in New York, just put yourself in those shoes for a second and be like, what would it be like to be let me have some empathy for a second. Let me walk a mile in these shoes for a second.
Yeah, that's my point, too. It's like, if you want to get your fucking kids, if you want to get your fucking grandkids, if you want to understand a little bit what they're actually like, and even if you don't fully get it, you at least have a slightly deeper understanding of how their life looks and how they function amongst their peers. Fucking watch this. Like, it'll get you close.
Yeah, very well said. Funniest moments from the first few episodes? Anything you want to shout out? Whether it's like a running joke or a specific gag? Just giving you guys the chance.
Best moment, favorite moment is when they're going through the guy who has the work incident, right? The molestation incident.
My buddy Will Ropp, shout out.
He crushed it. And they do this weird thing where it just like drops into surrealism for a second, and he pulls out a card. It's a victim card, and then Amita Rao's character starts pulling out her cards, and she's like, woman, like child of immigrants, like sex work, and like it's like this weird thing where it's like, oh,
that's amazing because I didn't find that funny.
Is this a world where they like carry that? Like I thought that was just so fucking funny. That like slight like, oh, this is like goofier than I expected. I thought that was hilarious.
I think that that's something that got lost on the cutting room floor. In my memory of reading this pilot, the joke there is that they're at a convention where everyone has identity tags that are given out to them.
That's even funnier.
In my memory, I read this pilot a year ago, so I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure when you go to the convention, I would get like cis het white as
That
my
rocks.
tag. Senna, you would get black tech worker as your tag. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's what was happening.
Coxman.
I'd like it better if it was just like they just changed the rules of the of society, and they're like, yep, everyone just has the bitches on them at all times.
I thought that was okay if that is the consistent tone, but I didn't think that they kept that up, so I felt like it felt very like pilot-y, like silly.
I just like the joke about how she reads horoscopes on OnlyFans and then shows hole at the end. That was really fucking funny. I laughed so hard at that.
My favorite running gag is how they're always referencing movies, and then they'll turn to each other and say, hey, haven't seen that one. Oh, me either. But they like know that Casablanca is about trench coats.
Yeah.
They make fun of themselves. They are the target, and they are the heroes. And I think that that's a really good balance to strike.
Yeah. There was I don't know how far you guys have watched. Shmir, you said you watched it all, but there's in episode 5. I'm like clout chasing this episode. Shout out to my friend Ali Levitan, wrote that episode, and did a bang up job.
Stop. Too powerful.
That episode, Paul Baker and Samir are underage drinking with some like high school boys, and it's just
Jared and the boys.
It is so funny. That had me cracking up the entire time.
You guys playing Melee? do you guys Smash? Yeah, we play Smash Bros.
Yes, really great.
I think we all agree that you should watch Adults, and that we also think it might get better in future seasons. Where do you want to see it go? I guess you got to see the rest of the season to tell and
True.
know. But like, do you want to see this stay silly? Do you want some light serialization and storylines that are going to connect and link over time? Like, what would a perfect season 2 of Adults look like?
I think it needs to find its soul a little bit more first. I think that with one more we can start adding the kind of like more canon shit, like recurring storylines and recurring character shit. But I just think it needs to get a little bit more of its thing. It's sort of like Hacks. I feel like Hacks kind of when it found its runway, it was sprinting, and I think that this could find that same kind of runway.
I agree. I think there have been moments in the first season where they get very genuine and very, like, the jokes fall away for a minute, and I find myself really confused when that happens.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene in, I think, episode 2 when they're in the hospital. The Issa character goes into a chapel and starts praying, and it's like a 2-minute scene, and I was waiting for the joke the entire time, and then there's no joke. And so I was like,
Why?
I'm down for, like you're saying, soul searching. I'm down for it to be genuine. I'm down for it to take a little bit more serious turns
there's like
at
a
times.
little hinting at a Samir Billy, will they, won't they,
Yes,
that they're
totally.
trying to seed.
Yeah, and I'm fine with all that. I just think, like, again, let it find its footing, but some consistency in tone
Right.
will come through, I think, eventually.
And maybe that's what comes with inexperienced writers. Like, they'll get better as they write more episodes.
Yeah.
Ben
Yeah.
and
Right.
Rebecca and this team and this writers room.
But
And
obviously
then
they have the backing of Nick Kroll, and they have the backing of
Right.
Jonathan Kreisel, and they have the
Stephanie
backing
Robinson.
Stephanie Robinson from Atlanta, yeah.
Yep.
These people, there's a reason that they bought this pilot. There's a
You
reason
say
that they're
there
making
are
it.
adults in the room.
That's good. It's really good. That's why you're the schmear.
That's why Senna hates me.
I'm so sick of it.
Senna just like made a new meme over there. It was a new reaction gif.
Dude, I guess
he perfected that at Can, and so did I, honestly.
At Can, I'm just on, like, I'm at my limit after Can on the puns. I can't do it anymore.
I'm just happy to be here.